From Hollywood, I'm Sandy Newton. Next, I'll give you the inside word on Sylvester Stallone, Warren Beatty, Joan Collins, and Stevie Nicks.
Now, Hollywood Insider goes behind the glitter and glamour to give you the inside news on today's top stars.
On this week's Hollywood Insider, you'll find out that television's daring and ultra-smart MacGyver, Richard Dean Anderson, is a daredevil in real life. You'll be surprised when Stevie Nicks of Fleetwood Mac lets you in on her secret passion. And we'll flash back on the career of legendary cinema seductress Rita Hayworth. Plus, the star of the new film Masters of the Universe, Dolph Lundgren, will let you in on his secret plan to become master of the movies. You know, in movies like Rocky, Rambo, and Cobra, Sylvester Stallone has triumphed over some pretty tough adversaries, but those battles just may end up looking like child's play compared to his next scheduled bout. I'm talking about his divorce from Bridget Nielsen, and we have the inside story on that broken marriage. The word is that their relationship was on shaky ground for quite some time, all because of Bridget's lavish spending habits. The Swedish-born actress was given a $1,000 a day allowance, but she went way over that limit when she allegedly ran up charges of almost $1 million on Sly's credit cards. Supposedly, Nielsen spent the money on clothing for herself and extravagant gifts for her co-workers on the film Beverly Hills Cop 2.
We'll send it along with the 44 shells.
According to word of mouth here in Hollywood, it was Sly's mother, Jacqueline, who persuaded him to file for divorce. In a recent interview, Mama Stallone said that poor Sly was no match for Bridget when it came to either smarts or worldliness. Well, although Stallone may not be as invulnerable as his image, actor Richard Dean Anderson definitely lives up to his on-screen reputation. In real life, he's every bit as daring as his television character, MacGyver. Recently, we caught up with him to get the inside story.
He saves the day a lot. I mean, when in doubt, call MacGyver.
Richard Dean Anderson plays the role of that handsome, intelligent daredevil, MacGyver. But the reason Richard got the part is that he's something of a daredevil in real life. Recently, Anderson got a chance to show off what a daredevil he is by driving a pace car at the Toyota Olympus Rally in the state of Washington.
I just started racing about a little over a year ago, and consequently the hook for racing just got seeded real heavily, and I just, any form of racing on. I've never done anything like this legally, so I figured now is the chance to try it.
The Toyota Rally is just the latest example of Richard Dean Anderson, the sportsman. In fact, Richard never set out to be an actor at all. In high school, he played varsity hockey, and he wanted to play professionally.
But I broke my arms. I did want to be a professional hockey player, and I broke a couple of arms in a matter of 3 weeks. It kind of dashed my dreams and took the aggressive edge off you need to play professionally. So I took up something safe like race car driving. Yeah.
What he did do was get into show business with a daredevil twist.
I wrote and directed and acted in some shows for Marineland of the Pacific when I was a mere child, about 15 years ago, 10 years ago, something like that. And I used to dangle dead mackerels out of my teeth and have killer whales jump up and snap them out of my mouth. Normal day's work. The nature of MacGyver being a relatively action-adventure-oriented show, it's a job that sort of fell right in with what I like to do, which is jump around. And I love it. I just once a jock, always a jock syndrome.
The fame that Richards received from being MacGyver gives him the opportunity to get into some dangerous action in real life, like race car driving.
Lord knows. From what I hear, I should have second thoughts.
As it turns out, Anderson got a little more danger at the Toyota Olympus Rally than he bargained for. On the very first night of the 3-day-long cross-country rally, Richard went off course and got into an accident, which caused his car to flip over. Luckily, Richard got out okay. But before the race began, Richard Dean Anderson, the daredevil, was more concerned with a problem that MacGyver never has to worry about on television.
One thing they did not cover was where do you go to the bathroom when you're out in the middle of the woods.
While Richard Dean Anderson is letting off steam on the race course, James Brolin has been venting some bitterness behind the scenes of the ABC series Hotel. The inside word is that the star of the primetime soap is steaming mad about the shape the series is in. A former top-rated show, Hotel took a nosedive in the ratings last season. And things don't look so good for the coming season. Brolin claims the script for the first show would put you to sleep, and he hopes it's not too late for a rewrite. According to Brolin, the show's quality has gone way down, and he's very angry about it. He believes the problems stem from the on-screen relationship between his character and Connie Sellecca's. Brolin says that the relationship is too wimpy, that it needs sizzle, like on Moonlighting. The actor is so upset that he's threatening to walk off the series at the end of the coming season. I'll have more of what's going on in Hollywood in just a moment. We'll pay tribute to the legendary movie queen Rita Hayworth, and Stevie Nicks of rock supergroup Fleetwood Mac will reveal her secret passion. Stay with us. Lately here in Hollywood, the stars are having bad luck with their cars. A couple of weeks ago, we told you how Michael Landon had 2 of his luxury cars stolen within days of each other. Well, now Warren Beatty has become the victim of auto thieves. The thing is, the incident would not have happened if Beatty had just left his car with the valet at a Thai restaurant on Sunset Boulevard. But no, the multi-million-dollar movie star decided he wanted to save a big $150. So he parked his $40,000 Mercedes-Benz on the street. When he returned after dinner, the penny-wise and pound-foolish Mr. Beatty found that his car had vanished. But the story does have a happy ending. Warren's wheels were recovered several days later, minus the radio and battery. And Joan Collins recently found herself stranded when she had some car trouble. The calamity occurred as Collins was being chauffeur-driven to a Dynasty filming location on the outskirts of Los Angeles. Joan was decked out in costume, heels, and full makeup when her gold Rolls-Royce broke down on the freeway. But the actress didn't throw a star snit like she did a while back when she was bumped from an airline flight. Nope, Joan was a real trooper this time. Witnesses claim that Collins and her driver got out and walked down the highway as trucks zoomed by. They eventually found a Burger King. There, surrounded by truck drivers, Joan actually ate a burger and she signed some autographs. After a while, another car showed up to take Collins to the location. Well, while Joan Collins is the best-known siren on television, Rita Hayworth was one of the most famous vamps of the big screen. And since her death last May, there's been renewed interest in her movies. If you're not familiar with those films, or if you're one of her biggest fans, you now have the opportunity to see many of her movies on home video. Here's a sample of some of those video cassettes.
Look, would you mind turning the other way, please?
Why?
I can't concentrate when you look at me like that.
Rita Hayworth was probably the most sensual, most alluring of all the Hollywood love goddesses of the 1940s. With many of her films now out on home video, you can sit back and watch the progression of her stellar career. When Hollywood discovered Rita, she was a dancer, and they started her out in movies as a partner to Fred Astaire. It was her third film, You Were Never Lovelier, which established her as a major star back in 1942.
I'm old-fashioned. I love the moonlight. I love the old-fashioned things.
Of all the films Hayworth made, the Fred Astaire musicals were her favorite. In later life, she would say that these were the only movies of hers she could still watch without laughing. But Hollywood saw in Rita more than just a partner for Astaire. They saw a smoldering temptress. That reputation was firmly established in the 1946 film Gilda.
Gilda, are you decent?
Me? Sure, I'm decent.
For the rest of her career, Hayworth would play the bad girl, the shady lady, the woman with a past. One of her most famous femme fatales was the lady from Shanghai. Her co-star and director on the film was husband Orson Welles.
Why don't you try to understand?
George was supposed to take care of Arthur, but he lost his silly head and shot Broom. After that, I knew I couldn't trust him. He was mad. He had to be shot.
And what about me?
Oh, we could have gone off together.
This scene is from the end of Lady from Shanghai, and it's one of the more famous scenes in the movies, the shootout in the Carnival Funhouse. It was brilliantly directed by Wells.
But you know, I'm pretty tired of both of us.
Hayworth divorced Wells because she said she couldn't stand his genius anymore. In the 1950s, Rita's career began to falter, but she did make a few memorable films during this period. One of the best is Separate Tables, in which she played the vain, lonely, and desperate ex-wife of Burt Lancaster.
So frightened. So frightened. I'm an awful coward, you see. I've never been able to face anything alone. Being ill, having operations and all that, and now I can't even face just getting old.
Rita Hayworth became a recluse in the 70s, and we know few details of her later years. But apparently her real life was as troubled and tragic as many of her on-camera roles. Fortunately, Hayworth's silver screen legend endures on the television screen thanks to home video. Now let's uncover what's going on in the recording world between the grooves. As you're no doubt aware, the 10th anniversary of Elvis Presley's death is being observed this week. Fans from all over the world have been flocking to Memphis, Tennessee to visit the entertainer's mansion, Graceland, and to view his grave. But we've heard that a member of the Presley family is determined to close the doors of Graceland and to stop these pilgrimages. Our sources tell us that Elvis Presley's daughter, Lisa Marie, is intent upon shutting down the estate when she inherits it at age 25. That'll be in 6 years. She says she wants to have the remains of her father and grandparents moved to a cemetery where she feels they properly belong. Lisa Marie complains that Graceland has become an amusement park. The word is that the Memphis City Fathers are pretty distressed by this news, since Graceland brings a lot of tourist dollars into the city. In other news from the music scene, the lead singer of the 1970s supergroup the Bee Gees has resurfaced lately, but in a new profession. Barry Gibb has written a story that is the basis for an upcoming movie titled Hawks. The film will star Timothy Dalton, who is also the new James Bond. In addition to creating the story, Gibb will compose and perform music for the film, along with British rock legend Eric Clapton. Another rock and roll act that's popped up again recently is Fleetwood Mac. The group has been riding high on the charts with a new album and 2 hit singles. But it's rumored that this current album could be Fleetwood Mac's swan song. What do you think the group members will do when they split up? Well, they'll no doubt continue with solo projects, and singer